Hello and welcome to the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Von Arx, here with my friend and co-host, Kerry Egler. And in today's episode, we'll be discussing the best t-shirt blanks for print on demand products. But first, real quick, before we begin, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast. It helps us reach new listeners and it helps you never miss an episode. Thank you so much. We're so glad you're here. And with that, let's dive in.
What's up, dude?
Hey man, what's going on?
Not much. I'm doing great. We just came off of a 5-day challenge event where we were helping beginners get their online t-shirt and apparel store started, and it was phenomenal. It was awesome. We had close to 6,000 people be a part of that challenge. Yeah, and it's so much fun, man. Going live for 5 days, just giving away all the information for free, and then we were able to welcome tons of new people into Shirt School, which was so much fun. And you actually came on and spoke at the challenge.
Yeah, dude, that was so much fun. I was so fired up. Like, I love speaking at your challenges. I just get like a big adrenaline rush because it's live. Like you have the floor, you know, and there's something different about being live that it's just like, I don't know if it's the pressure or what, but there's like more adrenaline for me personally. And
always.
We had so much fun. Like I felt like I could have presented for like another hour. It was so much fun.
You dropped that quote. You dropped that quote, and it was like my mind was blown, and I felt like the live stream just went to a new level. Like everybody's getting chills. Dude. I know we're not trying to get deep this early in the podcast, but the quote was, "If you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill from regret." That's been like, that's been rolling around with me for a couple of days since you dropped that bomb on me.
Dude, I had that quote still gets me. Like when I was presenting and I said that quote, I had like hairs on my arms standing up. I was just like, it's one of those quotes. I don't know, man. It just like hits, like, at least for me and you. So I love quotes. I'm a huge quote fan. I have like a note in my phone with like literally hundreds of quotes. And every time I hear a good one, I add it. So
I'm trying to become a quote man. I like quotes, but I'm trying to become, I have a lot of them written down. Sometimes I remember them and then I'm like, oh, I do know kind of a lot of quotes. But some of those just stick with you.
Yeah, man.
But let's jump in, man.
All the feels. Let's go.
Best t-shirt blanks for print on demand. So we're talking about the best t-shirts for print on demand specifically. Mm-hmm. If there is a more of a positive reason to use a t-shirt for print on demand other than not. I mean, I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit of both, but mainly talking about for print on demand, maybe talking about the stuff that's available, what's available out there, what are our favorites, and maybe even some information, some tips around, how choosing the right blank for print on demand and the print method could be a little bit different, could change your decision a little bit over maybe some other print methods. So excited to dive in.
Totally. So what I was thinking we could do is we could just talk about why good blanks are so important. And then we jump into our manufacturers and styles that we recommend. And they're not just t-shirts. Like we're giving recommendations for t-shirts, tanks, sweatshirts, hoodies. We're bringing it all. So maybe I'll just kind of like explain really quick why good shirts matter. I am very much a proponent of not using cheap t-shirt blanks. We all know that there's some out there. They're just not that good of quality, but we're so tempted by those margins. The margins look so attractive. But the problem with that is that if someone has a bad experience buying a product from your store and they're like, oh, this is itchy, it feels like cardboard, do you really expect them to come back? And the fortune is in the follow-up. It's in the repeat sales. So if you want to create a sustainable clothing brand with happy repeat customers, you need to create quality t-shirts that your customers love and will come back for. So that's why I just wanted to quickly give a little like spiel about why good shirts matter so much.
We got to go there for a second. I like to play the other side a little bit.
Bring it.
So I agree with you. But here's what I would say. In some situations, you may be in a niche where your ideal customer, the customer you're selling to, they might not want and I shouldn't say like super high quality blank, but I think they might prefer the cheaper t-shirt, not for the reason of it being cheap, but there are cheaper t-shirts like some of the Gildan t-shirts and everything that are actually better for certain types of people. Because they're thick and they're durable and those kind of things. So and that comes with a cheaper price tag. So, I'm curious what your thoughts are, but because I totally agree with you, you should pick a quality blank, but at the same time, consider your market, right? If you're, just for instance, if you're selling to a bunch of big burly dudes, they don't want to wear fitted unisex t-shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you need to, I always use kind of a blanket of this one t-shirt that I like. It's Bell and Canvas 3001. I really like that t-shirt.
Oh, love it.
Such a great selling t-shirt, but it's the reality is not great for every brand, right? You got to think about who your customer is, what kind of fit they like. Do they like a thicker one or a thinner t-shirt or soft or maybe something that's more durable or need to consider those things, right? I mean, do you agree on that end?
Yes, I do agree. I totally agree that not everyone wants something fitted. Not everyone wants something thin. A lot of people have kind of different preferences. What I mean and maybe that's a little bit misleading, but what I mean by cheap is I mean the ones that we know are lower quality, the ones that are notorious for not feeling good to wear. They're itchy, they feel really stiff and stuff like that. But there are some decent Gildan ones that are thicker. And you're right, especially because some niches are a little bit more price sensitive than others. So, between the two businesses that I had, one niche was much more price sensitive than another. And so we did sell the Gildans for quite a while there because they were more price sensitive and they didn't have a problem with it. And they thought it was fine and it worked okay for them. But we do get better overall feedback from something like a Bell Canvas 3001. And I'm not just slamming Gildan. I'm just saying there's kind of different levels. But if it's a little heavier, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a heavy t-shirt. Some people like heavier t-shirts as opposed to the really lightweight ones. So I do agree with you that different strokes for different folks, as they say.
Like a Hanes beefy tee or whatever. Pretty much nobody wants that. I think what you're saying is there's t-shirts that you buy them and they first of all they may not fit right out of the bag, right?
Yeah.
They may fit funky. Second, they might just feel like cardboard. Then third, when you wash them, then it's they've shrunk 2 inches and you're well, I guess it's a belly shirt now, It's stay, when we say quality tees, I think, there are certain t-shirts out there that are just man, just stay away from these t-shirts. If the price is $3.99 on print on demand or even $6.99, it's probably a bad idea. And even if, it's probably a bad idea in general on some of those.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And one thing that I do like is that a lot of print on demand providers actually have reviews from the sellers on which shirts are their favorite and which shirts are their least favorite. So what you can do is you can just go and read those reviews and see what sellers like us are writing about the quality of these shirts and what their customer feedback is and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
There's definitely different levels of quality, in my opinion. And I just am really, really against anything that's not going to bring someone back, something that's not going to create a good customer experience and bring them back for repeat sales.
100%.
So that's really what my little rant here is all about. So, almost every successful t-shirt brand runs paid ads on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google. And in fact, I've never met a 6 or 7 figure t-shirt brand that doesn't run paid ads, because that's how you scale. That's how you get, that's how you scale your winning designs. But what's important to know is that when you're running those paid ads, there's going to be that cost per acquisition to get those new customers. And that means that you're paying a cost in the form of advertising dollars to acquire a new customer. And that cost is going to affect your profit margins on that first sale. But the good news is that the cost per acquisition cost that you pay to acquire that new customer in most cases is a one-time cost. So you pay that cost per acquisition, you get the customer, and then you remarket to them with email or SMS, and you get them buying again and again. So, let's say that it costs you $15 in ad spend to acquire a customer. Whether they buy from you one time or 10 times, you paid that one-time cost per acquisition of $15. Meaning, if you can get your customers to love your clothing or apparel brands or apparel products so much that they continue to purchase from you, that customer is going to be much more profitable to you after that first sale. And there are just so many clothing brands out there, that will actually run ads at a break-even profit margin because they're so confident that a good percentage of those customers will return. And if that's the case, this strategy can be super profitable for them. And you can even see like this data, in Shopify. You can see how much your customers are spending, like the customer lifetime
average order value. Yeah, average order
customer
value,
lifetime value,
return.
the cost per acquisition, the average order value. You can see all these things. So, but what doesn't make people come back and become repeat customers is poor quality products. So if you purchase that white shirt that you're wearing right now and you were unhappy with the quality, would you purchase again from that brand?
No.
So that
100%.
brand maybe they paid to run ads to get you to buy that online, and they made a pretty small margin on the first product or on that first sale, and you're not coming back. They didn't make that much money.
Nope.
So you might even ask for a refund and try to get your money back, in which case they're maybe losing money. So that is why it's so worth it to use high quality blanks. And fortunately, there are quite a few out there that offer very great quality at a very reasonable price that you can make a decent profit with. So that's kind of my segue into like our recommendations here.
Yeah, let me go one more place here before we jump in there, because I think it's important that people know this. Because I mentioned this just in the intro, so I definitely want to touch on it. Is depending on the print method that you're using or that your t-shirts are being printed with. So the main two that we talk about are screen printing and then direct to garment. Screen printing is going to be, in most cases, what your local, if you call up a local shop and you say, I need some t-shirts, and they're going to screen print those. And we're not getting into really that today of talking about, how that works. But when it comes to print on demand, most times they're using direct to garment printing, which is completely different from screen printing. It's a different way of doing it. And so essentially what they're doing is they're putting your t-shirt blank into a big old huge printer. They're sliding that t-shirt blank into there, and a printer is just printing the image and just printing the ink right on that t-shirt. So one thing I found out really early on, and I was actually using, this is another one of those t-shirts that I would just not use. I was using the District, like the concert tee. There was a print on demand that I was using that I had. I don't remember which print on demand provider, but I was using that t-shirt. It was like the concert tee or whatever. Super cheap t-shirt. I just kind of used it because it was there. It was a good margin. And I kept getting so many customer complaints about the quality of the print. Kept getting complaints that the colors were, not very good, and the print just looked really bad, right? It just looked like you. And I think if you've done print on demand for any amount of time, maybe I'm sure some of you haven't, but Adrian, I know you have. Like, you've seen some pretty bad direct to garment prints. Am I right?
Brutal.
You know what they look like? Yeah. Just you get a bright red, and it looks like a dull pink, or something. And it's just like, what? So I kept getting these quality issues, and I finally reached out to my print on demand, and I blamed them. I was like, why does your print quality suck? What is up with the direct, like, you're doing this direct to garment thing. Every single t-shirt is coming out horrible. And they emailed me back something really interesting, and it actually changed the game a little bit for me when going back to what you said about, using quality blanks. They told me, hey, it's actually doesn't have as much to do with our printing. It's actually the blank you're using. And what they told me was, when you use higher quality cotton, you actually get a better print when it comes to direct to garment. And so when you see a t-shirt, like the District or we talked about the Hanes or maybe some of the lower end Gildan tees, they're using cheap cotton from wherever. It's not as good a quality, and that can affect the print quality. So a lot of times with direct to garment, we want to blame the print on demand for these really bad prints, but a lot of times it's because of we're using these really low quality cotton t-shirts. And so I just wanted to mention that upgrading to a better blank, and we're going to get into those specific blanks, upgrading to a better blank can actually greatly improve the quality of your prints when it comes to print on demand. Now, it doesn't, I'll wrap it up with this, but it doesn't matter as much with screen printing just because of the print method that they're using. It doesn't affect like the color, how the colors come out on screen printing. But when it comes to direct to garment, it does. And I think it just has something to do with the fibers and how the ink kind of sets into the fibers. If it's for some reason that, that quality of cotton really matters. So I would just let people know that that's another reason to really not use cheap garments and consider, we're not going to tell you to use like the most expensive t-shirt out there, but to use a quality tee blank t-shirt.
Right. And it's kind of interesting though, like you make a really good point and it kind of brings something like another point. Why, if these print on demand companies know that the print quality looks bad on these t-shirts, why are they offering them? Like they see them, they're printing them out every day. And if they're looking at them and be like, this is trash, like who's gonna appreciate this design? Like I've seen some really bad prints on print on demand shirts. And I just like, yes, you're right. Like it's not necessarily the print on demand company. They probably can't print any better on these shirts, even with better printers, but I just don't understand why they wouldn't kind of like get the memo. If sellers like us were reaching out to them and being like, this quality is terrible, my customers are all complaining, I would be like, we should probably remove this from our catalog. But maybe that's just me. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think that's a little weird that like they don't just like, if they know it looks bad, do they just want to have like a low cost option just
That's
to
where I was going to go. That's where I was going to go. Is like, it's just a price war, right? Like, like if, and so we could get into pricing and all those kind of things, but just to use this as an example, we have over 400 print on demand providers in the Shopify app store. At least when you search print on demand, it says 400 up there. I've never gone to the end to make sure those are all print on demand providers.
Yeah.
Probably 65, 70% of those print on demand providers, they're all selling the Bella Canvas 3001 as an example.
Right.
So why, if I want to sell the Bella Canvas 3001, why would I go to one print on demand over another? It's mainly just pricing, right? I'm just looking at pricing right now. And there's many other things to consider with print on demand, but naturally it's just a price war, right? Everybody's selling the soft style Gildan 64,000 and you're going around, you're trying to, especially when it comes to print on demand, we really need to really need to pay attention to the margins more because, the margins can be smaller, obviously with t-shirts with print on demand. So you have to find a competitive price. And so I think that there's just pressure from print on demand companies to be competitive, and that's how they're going to attract customers. Because if we just look at it arbitrarily from an outside view, all these print on demands are doing the exact same thing. They're selling the exact same products. They have the exact same service. Many times I've tested print on demands and sometimes their apps look identical. You get into their Shopify apps and it's like, oh, this looks exactly like, and I'm like, are they just using like some app company that makes these apps for print on demand? Like it's like, what's going to differentiate them? And most of the time, every print on demand is going to tell you our quality is great, and we ship fast. And it's like, but that's one of the main reasons that's, you're going to stand out is going to be your pricing. And so it just becomes a price war. So I think that's why they have those. But I totally agree with you of that. It's like, it is still on the print on demand for selling a junk t-shirt like that that they can't get good print quality out of. To finish that story, I don't know that I finished the story, but I would finish it off by just saying they were right. I stayed with the same print on demand provider. That's when I switched over to the Bella Canvas 3001. I raised my prices to compensate for the margin because I had to raise prices just a little bit going from the district tee. And I didn't have any quality issues after that. I was shocked. I was like, wow, that really did solve that issue in that instance for me. And so, it's kind of a weird thing, but definitely something to consider.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, you're right about the price wars. Like, if a print on demand company can say t-shirts starting at $6, that's going to be very attractive, especially the newbies who just aren't really familiar with like the different brands, the different styles. They might just think, oh, everyone has the same t-shirt, or like, like that would be really attractive to me if I was brand new. I'd be like, oh my God, like I'm going to be able to make awesome margins on this. And I wouldn't really, like I wouldn't really think much more about it. I'd be like, if they're selling it, then it's probably legit. And then you find out, you get all these unhappy customers, and you learn, you learn pretty fast. But
And you know, there's some bad print on demands out there, man.
oh, there's some terrible ones.
There's some rough
Yeah.
print on demand providers. So
Yep,
sure.
I've used some of them.
let's get into the
Let's jump
good links.
in.
Let's talk about the good links.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the first one, or do you want me to get started here?
Yeah, I'll start with the first one. I think this is maybe both of our favorites, but
Yeah.
we've been talking about it. This is kind of a staple. I would say it's the most I confidently can say, even without looking at numbers, it's probably the most popular and best selling blank.
Yeah.
It's the Bella and Canvas 3001 unisex tee, short sleeve t-shirt. Now, first thing I would say, I know a lot about this t-shirt. I've done like in-depth reviews on this t-shirt. The first thing I would say is there is a 3001C, and then there's a 3001. I don't remember if it's a U or if it's just the 3001, but there's a 3001C, and that is, the C does not stand for China, but a lot of people think it stands for, but that one is the 3001C is the more affordable version that is
Yes.
it's not made in the US. And then the more premium version is made in the US, and typically among print on demand providers, you're going to see the 3001C. That's going to be the standard one that you're going to get, anywhere between, I would say, if you're on some kind of premium print on demand plan, somewhere between like $8.50 and maybe $11, $12 at the most. I think, if you go to something like Printful, you're probably going to see some pretty high prices, but you should be able to get it between that range, $8.50 to maybe $11. It's going to sit in that $9-10 range of most print on demands. It is it's my personal favorite as well as Adrian's, I think, and I'll let you chat on it as well.
it
but
is.
They're soft, good quality. They don't shrink a lot. In my opinion, they're a little bit longer, just a tiny bit longer, which I think most people like.
Yeah.
Just to have a little more length, so you're not showing off your belly or whatever. It's not like it's just a little bit longer, but not too long. And what I really like about it is, another thing is, there's so many colors available. It's like sometimes you go out here and you're like, man, I really love this t-shirt, and maybe you order one, whatever, and then you're like, but there's only 5 colors,
Yeah.
And so the Bella Canvas 3001, I don't know how many exactly colors, but 25, 30 colors with most print on demand providers. So when you look at it you just look at the total package on this t-shirt comparatively to other t-shirts, you have more colors, and you have really, I would say, almost premium quality. There are better t-shirts, but high quality and tons of options at a price that is kind of like, whoa, like you're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
Totally.
Comparatively. So that's why I think we say, like, this is the one that we love the most, because you can get the margins, it's a premium t-shirt, lots of options, it fits great, it's not going to shrink a lot. I mean, it's just a really solid t-shirt.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And another thing I really, really like about it is because it's unisex, it can appeal to both men and women. And right now, oversized tees are kind of trendy. So if it is a little bit longer, a lot of people like that. Even when it's not trendy, a lot of people prefer a little bit longer. Like you said, no one really wants a belly shirt unless
unless
they
that's
actually order a belly shirt. Maybe they want a crop top, they would buy a crop top. You know what I mean? So, one thing that's nice about it is if you want to keep your options to a minimum, you can just offer the t-shirt unisex for both men and women, as opposed to having different styles. And I'm not opposed to having different styles, but I am kind of like opposed to having too many styles, because it can be very overwhelming for the customer. It can lead to decision fatigue. And sometimes they won't know the difference. They won't know what to buy. They'll get very confused, and they'll just abandon ship. You know what I mean? And nobody wants that. So I love that you can sell this to both men and women. Both love it. Like, I have this t-shirt. I think it's so nice. And what's nice,
probably have 100 of them.
so many people. Many. Think about how many brands probably just use this and then put their manufacturer label in, or their brand label in, right? Because it has a tearaway neck label. It's so easy to do. You can even do that on Printful. Like, literally, Printful allows you to have your printed neck label, and they will remove the manufacturer tag. Yeah. So no one getting that from none of your customers receiving that, if you go with that upgraded branded option. There is an upcharge for it. If you go with it, they won't know that it's a Bell Canvas t-shirt. So what else is nice is if you were, let's say, screen printing locally your own shirts, like there's always like the minimums, right? And so if the more options you have, the more you have to buy of each. So it's so nice. Like if you are screen printing, a design on men and women, if you can keep it to the 3001 as opposed to have, and let's say your minimum, let's just say your minimum's like 25 or 50. If you had a different style that you were offering, you'd have to do 25 or 50 of that one too. But what's kind of nice is if you just want to keep it really simple, you can just do 25 to 50 of this and then offer it to both men and women.
Yep.
So
one thing I don't want to get too off in the weeds on, but a lot of people get confused when they're starting out. They get confused and they want to know: do I need to have a unisex T-shirt and men's, on my website, and women's? And I mean, my opinion is I would encourage most people to start with just a unisex T-shirt like the 3001. Kind of go from there. See, start by selling those and see what your customers want. Generally, you don't need a additional men's shirt, but you may need an additional women's fitting shirt because just women can be a little more picky on just wanting a different type of fit or wanting a more fitted women's cut. So I would say for most people, you don't need a men's specific T-shirt. The unisex is great, and you might need a women's tee. Just kind of start with unisex.
Yeah. I've never offered a men's T-shirt. If I called it men's, it was unisex.
Yeah.
Because unisex sizing is essentially men's sizing. Now, the only time which I would probably offer a men's is if I was like a male targeted brand. Yeah. Let's say like
just call it men.
Be like a what's that?
You might still use unisex, but just call it men.
Yeah, maybe you'd still use unisex, but I would have more options. Because if I was creating like a men's lifestyle brand in some specific niche, I might have some of the popular men's cuts. Like, I don't know, there are some men's shirts, like Bella Canvas came out with one not too long ago. And there are some men's shirts that are like men's. They're not like unisex. Yeah.
A little more boxy,
so I might offer some of those, but I've never done that before. I've always offered unisex as men's, and then like by far across the board, the Bella Canvas 3001 has been the most popular shirt. Like back in the day when I tested more styles, it still blew them out of the water. We had women's fitted styles. We had multiple women's fitted styles. And then we had unisex, and this one just blew it out of the water. So like you don't need a whole bunch. It is nice to have maybe like some options, like you say, maybe one or two women's fitted, and we're actually going to make some suggestions of a woman's fitted one here in a sec. But this shirt is just so versatile and is where I recommend pretty much everybody start.
100%. I'm with you. All right, hit that next one.
All right, let's jump to the next one. So this is another Bella and Canvas shirt. This is a bit more premium. So if you want to level up, kind of like one level up from the 3001, I recommend the 3413. This has a more premium feel, and it's a unisex tri-blend short sleeve tee. So tri-blend just in general feels a little like softer, nicer, stretchier. It just has that kind of more premium feel. It's,
very
it's
soft.
It's super lightweight. What's that?
They're just very soft, like next level soft.
They're really nice. So it is like a level up from the 3001. Even though we almost never get complaints about the 3001, the 3413 is the one where you'll get people saying like, whoa, this quality is amazing. It's just kind of like one level up. It is, however, more expensive because it is a premium kind of, tri-blend shirt. So I would only recommend this as a premium option. Personally, I would not use this as my staple shirt. I would use the 3001 as my staple, and then I would, add a few dollars on and have this premium option, the tri-blend option, where if someone wants like a step up, then this is what they go with.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hit this next unisex one. I'll let you hit the just sticking with the unisex here, and then you start hitting the women's.
Sure.
But the last unisex T-shirt I think we would recommend is the Next Level 3600. It is so it's essentially just about the same as the Bella Canvas 3001. We definitely wouldn't sell both in a store. Here's my experience. Now, I did a YouTube video. You know, you guys feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel, Kerry Regular YouTube channel. But I did a YouTube video comparing 3001 versus 3600. Next level 3600, Bella Canvas 3001. In my opinion, I think that the 3600 is a little nicer feeling. It's almost like they're about the same softness, but the 3600 is almost like it's a little bit thicker, but like in a good way, I guess. You know, like, I don't know. It's a little thicker, like maybe just a little bit heavier, but still very soft. And I would say, like, if you just put black t-shirt versus black t-shirt, I would probably go with the next level 3600. I also found that, and I think I could echo this in all the years these have been the two most worn shirts in my wardrobe, would be the 3600 and the 3001. Yeah. I think that the 3600 is more consistent with quality. Like, you don't get a lot of stray, strands or like, weird seams and different things like that. You don't get that as much on the 3600. So I would just say, like, the slightest bit, maybe give it the edge on those factors. But in most cases, you're going to find that the 3600 is more expensive. And in all cases, pretty much, you're going to find that there's way less color options than the 3001 if you put those together. That was my experience. It's been my experience. So that's why I would still favor the 3001 over the next level 3600. The color options, the pricing, I would still go with the 3001. But I don't know. Maybe you have some comments on the 3600. That's just been my take.
I would agree. I would actually lean towards a Bella Canvas 3001. You're not going to get quality complaints about either, really. Like, I've sold both, but not at the same time, not in the same stores. So one store I sold the 3600 because I think it was actually a little bit cheaper than the Bella Canvas, but that's not always the case. Like, it's definitely more expensive in other print on demand shops. So I don't know if that was like they made a mistake or what happened, but we chose it because it was a little bit more affordable. But I've seen it more expensive too. Yeah. We did not get quality complaints about either of them really at all. Like, it was very, very low. Very few people said, "Oh, it's so itchy. Like, it doesn't feel good." Like, most people said, "I love the fit and feel of it." Right. So you're right. It's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just Bella Canvas, or just next level's version of the 3001. It's soft, lightweight, good quality. And yeah, I don't really have a lot else to say about that.
What I meant to say, I meant to add this as well, that in the video, I talk about this. When I actually just like put on one and then put on the other one right after that, I was shocked because they almost fit exactly the same. Like, at least on me, like, I put on the 3001 and, I'm kind of just like moving my arms around, kind of seeing how long it is and everything. And then I put on the 3600 and I was like, these are exactly the same. Like, the cut is almost identical. So these really are very, very comparable t-shirts to each other.
Yeah, totally. Like, you're 100% right. Like, do not sell both of these in your store. You're wasting your time. The customers are going to get the exact same product. It's more work for you. It's more products on your store. It's confusing for the customer because they have pretty much all the same specs. They're the same thing. So just choose one and roll with it. All right, so let's jump into the last t-shirt blank that we recommend. This one I have sold and got really good feedback on it. It is a women's fit t-shirt. So I did want to include like a women's fit one as well, because some people, they want unisex and they want like a women's option. And I've done that before in my shop. I still have a women's option in my store. And this is the one I have. So I have the 3001 and then I have the 6400, the women's relaxed jersey. So this is Bella Canvas 6400 women's relaxed jersey short sleeve tee. It's similar to the 3001, but with a slightly feminine cut. So it's not like those, what do they call them? You know the female t-shirts with the really short sleeves and they're really kind of like tailored. Maybe girlfriend or boyfriend tee, or no, not the boyfriend. I forget what they're called off the top of my head, but Bella Canvas, I think, has one of these. And they're just, I don't know. I've sold them, I think, in the past, and they just did not do well in my store. And maybe that's just my store. It's not everyone, but a lot of people liked the women's relaxed jersey short sleeve tee because it's still kind of long, which is really nice. and it fits comfortably, but it's like slightly tailored. There's just a little bit of contouring. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah,
Slightly
no,
tailored.
yeah.
So it has a bit of a feminine touch, but
I think
like,
it's just in between. It's more
yeah,
like in between a women's fit
yeah,
and a unisex. I mean, my experience now, you're hearing this from two dudes, so just keep that in mind.
that's
But,
true.
there may be different experiences out there that people have had. And, but this is my experience as well, has been that most females tend to just go, they favor the unisex t-shirt, or if they don't want the unisex t-shirt, it's something like it seems like they never want the women's fit, like
Right.
like the standard like women's fit. It's rare that they want that. Just because it's very like form fitting, and I just think a lot that's just not really the style, and a lot of women don't want that, But I think you just need there might be very specific types of women that want that fit. I think and again from my experience, if your main target is maybe women in their 40s and 50s, maybe they want that more. Maybe they're used to that more traditional like women's fit, so they want something like that. I don't know. That's just kind of one of those situations where you need to kind of check your audience and see what they favor, or
Totally.
test different things.
Yeah, when I tested them in my stores, they did not perform
Yeah.
well. The women's fit one, the 6400 did do well because it almost
Nice.
looked like a unisex shirt, right? But with a little bit of feminine touch to it. But like the unisex always outperformed the women's cuts. So if I was I mean, it really depends on you and your niche and how well you know your audience. But like if I was gonna do it for my brand, I would do like a unisex and then maybe like a crop or something like that. That's more on trend right now. Yeah, those women's ones, the ones with the really short sleeves and the really form fitted, just I don't know, they just have not done good in my experience. I'm sure some people have had a ton of success with them, but it's interesting to hear your thoughts on that too, and hearing kind of the same thing from you.
Yeah, I mean, unisex is always sold best. I've sold women's fit, like more of a women's fit. It's kind of just like here and there you sell one, but honestly, a lot of the ones that I've sold as far as women's fit, I did get some complaints on those, even on the like they're just like, I don't like this fit. It's like I don't remember the exact model because I sold so little of them. But I did have one more unisex t-shirt I just wanted to shout out.
Yeah.
It's the Gildan 64,000 soft style. I have a lot of students that use this t-shirt inside shirt school, and I do think it's a good option. I think it's, as we just said, the next level 3600 is like another version of the 3001. I kind of feel that same way about the Gildan 64,000 soft style. I feel like Gildan was like, oh, we need to come out with a 3001 competitor. And I don't know, which one's been out longer or whatever, but this one is it's a solid t-shirt. Just going to sit a slight level below the 3001, but it's also going to carry a much cheaper price tag. And so, a lot of people really like this t-shirt. I think it's a solid t-shirt. I've worn it and I've tested it on YouTube. And I think it's a solid t-shirt. There's not a ton of color options as I recall. I don't think there's a ton of color options. But the pricing can be really good. I mean, some of the print on demands have it at maybe $7, $7.50, and it's.
Wow.
I think you'll be satisfied if you're looking for a budget tee that punches above its weight class and is going to fit very similar to the 3001. I think it's going to shrink a little bit more on this t-shirt, just a little bit more. But I think it's a pretty solid t-shirt. You have any experience with the 64,000?
I don't know. I know it's really popular. And if
Yeah.
you go on Etsy and you look for like mock-ups, there's so many mock-ups for the Gildan 64,000.
Yeah,
It's
a
so
good t-shirt.
popular. I have always been very like brand loyal when it comes to the t-shirts, to Bella Canvas and Next Level, because I've just never found a reason to go anywhere else. Although I do agree with you, it's a more profit margin friendly option. The Gildan 64,000 soft style. So you're going to get better profit margins. And hey, if customers aren't complaining and they're happy with the quality and they're coming back and buying more, great. If that works for you, totally cool. my brand is more like a lifestyle brand, and we care
Yeah.
a lot about the quality. And if we can get one step up from that, like the Bella Canvas 3001, then that's what we're going to go with, just because we're charging like $38 for these t-shirts. So like we want to have a premium, we want to have a like
Sure.
premium feeling, like high quality feeling shirts.
Yeah, and there, I think among customers there could be a little bit of like, even if the T-shirt is really really good, in this case, like the 64,000 is really good. If somebody gets that T-shirt and they just see the Gildan tag, I think some people could have a bad taste in their mouth about that. And so that's something to consider. Of just like, there's sometimes products don't stink, but we just have a certain thought about the brand, and it's like the product might be fine, but we automatically think it stinks, just because of the brand name. And so Gildan, maybe not the best reputation for high quality t-shirts. I mean, they own a lot of brands and they have a lot of t-shirts and a lot of products. But yeah, they're I don't know about the reputation in comparison to something like Bella Canvas Next Level. People might automatically think they're a little more premium than the Gildan stuff. So that's something to consider.
That's a really good point. It's a really good point. Like when I think of Gildan, I do not think of quality. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
I don't think of high quality products. When I think of Bella Canvas, I think of quality. When I think of Next Level, I think of quality. When I think of Gildan, I just don't. And you're right though. People have perceptions, right? And even if you come out with nice things, like how like the brand Nike also owns the brand Brooks. And it's funny because they're like it's a good thing that they're totally separate companies, because Brooks has a reputation for being just like really cheap and basic. And then Nike has a reputation for being more premium, right? And like if Brooks tried to come up with a premium product, you'd be like, really? $200 for a Brooks? Like people would just think like it's Brooks. You know what I mean? So I feel like kind of like people could feel the same about t-shirts. That's one reason why I do like having branded options as well. So, some print on demand companies let you take out the tearaway label. And if you took that tearaway label out, if you could take the Gildan tearaway label out and then just print your own brand in there, people wouldn't know it was a Gildan, and they wouldn't have any perceptions. They might be like, this is so awesome and soft. But because they see that tag that, like, if they're going to pay especially if they're going to pay a bit more for the t-shirt, and then they see that it's a Gildan, they might be a little bit disappointed.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Why don't we jump into tank tops? Did you want me to take the first one?
Go ahead. I'm not really a tank man, so this might be your category here on the tank tops.
Yeah, no, I can definitely speak to both of them. And I will say tank tops sell much less than t-shirts in my experience across my brand. So I get why some people don't even offer them. I do like to offer them because they're so different from a t-shirt, and especially in the summertime, they're good. Also, like, I live in Arizona, like we wear tank tops all year here. So there's some sunny states where they wear them. You can also, if you're a fitness brand, tank tops make a lot of sense, right? Yep. So there are reasons to offer them. We don't offer a lot of tank top options because it's probably one of our least popular styles. But the one that we have had the most success with over the years is hands down the Bella Canvas 8800 women's flowy racerback tank. This one is crazy soft. Like, you feel them and they're just so soft. I don't know if I've ever felt a softer tank top in my life. And they're extremely lightweight. Like, it feels like you're wearing nothing. They're so lightweight. I can't say I've tried one on, but like just from the feedback that I get, because like they're very feminine. This is
you may or may not have tried one on.
I may or may not have tried. I just felt the quality. Okay, you know what, dude? Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but I'm pretty sure I have tried one on now that I think about it. And I forget why I even tried it on, but it was my brand's, and I don't know why.
Why not?
Yeah. But it was like it's a very feminine cut, and no, I'm not into wearing women's clothes. That's just not my thing. But like, I did try it on for some reason, and I totally forget why. And I was just like, this is crazy soft. This is crazy soft and lightweight.
You needed the picture for an ad, bro. Like, you get it. You needed.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see me in an 8800 flowy racerback tank. But what I will say is crazy soft. It's super lightweight. One thing to note about it though is that they can be very sheer, and so I do recommend ordering a sample before offering it just to see if you're okay with that. We do get the odd complaint that they're see-through. And for that reason, we only offer it in black right now. We've offered it in other colors and they were much more see-through. So there definitely is it's definitely quite sheer. So, some women, maybe they want to wear like a sports bra underneath that they really like. And that's kind of like what they're going for, where you can see it a little bit. But just order a sample and see what you think for yourself. But we do get the odd complaint that it's see-through. That said though, overall, the feedback is really, really good for this tank top. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the only one I've sold is the Bella Canvas 3480, and it's just a unisex. It's just a unisex tank top, and it's there's not much to say about it. I mean, it's similar to everything we've said about the other Bella Canvas t-shirts. I mean, I would assume it's a 3001 with the arms cut off. You know what I mean? Like it's just a unisex Bella Canvas coming in at a pretty good price. I mean, it's been a solid. That's the only one I've ever sold, and I haven't sold a lot of them, so I don't want to come on here and be like, I know how great this tank top is, but I think that's the only one I've sold. So you feel free to hit that next one and talk about your experience there.
Yeah, so the next one that I've sold and that I do recommend is the Next Level 6733 Women's Tri-Blend Racerback Tank. This one is less flowy. It's more kind of form-fitted. So the Bella Canvas 8800 is a little kind of flowier and longer. This one is a little bit tighter, more form-fitted. It's less flowy than the Bella Canvas 8800, and it has thinner straps. So I tested both of these. And the 8800 completely outsold the 6733. It just wasn't as popular, but it's still very soft, lightweight, and good quality. I think what might have turned some buyers off is that the straps are quite thin. And I just think that it's more people's preference. Well, in my experience, I can't speak for everyone. I'm only speaking about my experience. In my experience, more people preferred the 8800, and one of the biggest difference was that it was a little bit flowier, a little bit longer, and had kind of thicker straps. So, but a lot of people sell the 6733. It's very, very popular, and we didn't really get quality complaints about it. It just didn't get purchased as much. So, when people saw the mock-ups of the two, they were the majority of our customers were choosing the 8800.
Yeah.
So.
All right, moving on to sweatshirts. Talking about not hoodies, but just regular old crew neck typed. I guess you've actually got a cropped on here and some different things. But I'm going to touch on the one that I've sold the most of. It's the Gildan 18,000. So I kind of have maybe a little bit of a unique opinion on the 18,000 Gildan and then the Gildan 18500 hoodie. So everything we just talked about stands. I mean, people may have quality perception on these different brands, but I've sold quite a few of the 18,000 crew neck and also the 18500 hoodie. Mm-hmm. And in comparison to t-shirts, I think that these are kind of like the standard, like in hoodies, especially on the hoodie side. Like they make a really good quality, just like standard hoodie, and sweatshirt. And I think because they're heavier, and just in general, they're heavier than t-shirts. Mm-hmm. I think people are a little more forgiving on them than the t-shirts, right? Because t-shirts shrink a little more and those kind of things. So in my experience, I think the Gildan 18,000, unisex basically, and then the 18500 hoodie, I think they're pretty solid staples, as kind of a good crew neck, good hoodie. You're going to get pretty good pricing, but I do also really like the Bella Canvas stuff there, and I've sold some of that as well as far as the hoodie and the sweatshirt. Another one I've sold is, I don't remember the exact model number, but it's like the Port Authority type stuff. It's almost identical to the Gildan stuff.
Okay.
It's, it's going to be budget friendly, but it's not going to shrink because it's thick and warm. So I do like the I think it's Port Authority stuff. I've had some print on demand switch out the Gildan for the Port Authority if it runs out of stock, and never really had any complaints on it. So I've had a pretty good experience with those. But feel free to jump in on something that you like.
Yeah, I think you're right about the Gildan 18,000. I definitely think that is a staple sweatshirt. And again, if you go on Etsy and you look for sweatshirt mock-ups, you will probably not see any more than you will of the Gildan 18,000. They're all over Etsy. You can buy them. It's very popular. And right now, oversized t-shirts, oversized sweatshirts are really popular right now. And the Gildan is great for that. Like, it actually looks really good. And people seem to be really happy with it. Like, it's probably the most popular sweatshirt out there sold by print-on-demand sellers.
Yep.
So clearly the sellers are happy with it, and they're probably happy with it because their customers are happy with it. So I have no problems with that one. I would be totally comfortable recommending that. And I know it's a little bit more budget friendly than the other two that I'm going to mention. So let's move to the next one. This is the unisex Cotton Heritage M2480. It is a unisex premium sweatshirt. I sell this right now. It's really popular. I get good feedback on it. It's a bit heavier. It's very warm. People say that it feels premium. It's not quite as soft as a sweatshirt like the Bella Canvas 3901, the unisex sponge fleece raglan sweatshirt. Man, that is a soft sweatshirt. Like, so soft. Unfortunately, a lot of print-on-demand sellers don't offer it. I don't know why. I don't know if Bella Canvas restricts it, or maybe there are some that offer it, but the ones that I use don't offer it. And so we can't offer it. So instead, we offer the Cotton Heritage M2480, and we get good feedback on that. It's definitely a more premium, like heavier, cozy kind of shirt, but just not as soft as the sponge fleece from Bella Canvas.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the Cotton Heritage M2480. The other one I want to mention, because I also want to include a women's fit for each of these kind of blanks that we're recommending. So the women's fit for sweatshirts, man, like, if you're looking for something on trend and that your customers are going to absolutely love, it's the Bella Canvas 7502 women's cropped fleece hoodie. This one is insanely soft. I think it's a softest ever. Oh, sorry, no, that's the not the 7. I'm getting the hoodie and the sweatshirt mixed up. What's the one sec here? Bella Canvas. Maybe 7503.
A cropped crew neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, I don't know the exact model number.
Crew neck. Let's see. It's the 7503. The 7503 women's cropped crew fleece.
I see it.
This one is a crowd favorite. It's very on trend. The feedback I hear a lot is that the crop is like the perfect cut. So I guess some women don't like it too high. Some women don't like it too low, so that it just looks like a sweatshirt.
Well, I was going to mention that it's good to know like high-waisted jeans and pants are in style right now. So it's like,
yep.
That's why the cropped works, is because women are wearing their pants higher. So it's that crop is higher, and so I think a lot of women are like, I want to wear this style, but maybe I don't want to show off my belly. So
right.
So they're trying to find the right length.
Yeah, and this one we get really good feedback on that. People really like the cut of this one. Not to mention, it's insanely soft. I don't know what it is about the Bella Canvas 7503, the sweatshirt, and then the cropped sweatshirt, and then the Bella Canvas 7502, the cropped hoodie. They're like next level soft, and people absolutely gush over it. So this is, if you're trying to create like an elevated product, or if you're trying to go for that lifestyle brand, kind of have premium products, this is one you should definitely test out. The hoodie is even more popular in our store. It's actually quite a bit more popular in our store than the sweatshirt, but the sweatshirt is also really popular. And the feedback we get from both is amazing. Like, I don't think we've ever got a bad review about either of those two. So highly recommend if you're looking for a women's fit cropped. That's the one I'd recommend. And I think that covers it for sweatshirts. So why don't we jump over to hoodies?
Yeah, the one I talked about already is the Gildan 18500 as kind of just a staple. We also just mentioned the Bella Canvas 7502, which is the women's cropped fleeced hoodie, so a crop top. So essentially the 7502 and 7503, they're going to be exactly the same, I would assume. Just one is going to have a hood and one doesn't have a hood. So those are really good.
And drawstrings.
And drawstrings, yeah. If you want to touch on the cotton heritage there.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Cotton Heritage. So we sell both the 7502 for a women's fit. That's one that we have screen printed because we haven't been able to find a print on demand supplier that can offer a branded option of that. So they offer it like on, I think Printify offers it. I know Printful offers it, but you can't. They like Printful with branded products. There's only a small percentage of their products that you can actually remove the neck tag, and then you can put in your own brand. And unfortunately, they don't offer the branding option for the 7502. So we have to screen print that locally because it's so popular. It's worth it for us to screen print it locally and then have it in a warehouse. But what we do use for print on demand is the Cotton Heritage M2580, the unisex premium hoodie. And this is very similar. This is pretty much exactly like the M2480 for Cotton Heritage, which is a premium sweatshirt. So again, it's just like a sweatshirt with a hoodie and drawstrings. And like the sweatshirt, it's not the softest, but it is heavier. It's warm. It's premium feeling. People say that it just feels like it's a premium feel, that it's made well. And it's very, very popular with our customers. And we do not receive much negative feedback on that one at all. It does. One thing I will warn about the Cotton Heritage, and if anyone out there that's selling the Cotton Heritage M2480 or the M2580, this is probably feedback that they get. The negative feedback that we get the most from our customers about these two is that they have a slimmer fit. And so we actually, even though it's unisex, we recommend that women order their regular size in this and that men size up because it's a bit of a more tailored fit. And so when we didn't know that at first, and so we started selling it, and then we were getting a lot of exchanges, people being like, oh, this size doesn't fit, because we were telling women to size down because it was unisex. And we were like, oh man, what is going on here? Why are so many people exchanging for one size up? And then we started hearing the feedback, like the size was too tight and they ordered their normal size, or they ordered a size down. So we actually had to change the wording on our website to tell women to order a size up, and then tell men tell women to order their normal size and tell men to order a size up.
Yeah.
So anyone that's sold that's probably something that they've dealt with before. But if you can just change the wording and make that suggestion, then people are really happy with it. It doesn't have like as much stretch as something like a Bella Canvas 7503 or 7502, something like that. Mm-hmm. But overall, the feedback is really good. Aside from the slim fit, there's a solution to that. Just tell women to order size up, tell men to order their usual size, or even two sizes up for men. Depends on what they prefer.
A couple other quick, just like ones I would add to this list or honorable mentions would just be, if you want something really premium that also has the brand recognition, a lot more print-on-demand providers are carrying the Champion stuff. It definitely can carry a more premium price tag, the Champion, but it's really good stuff. And so, there's different versions of the Champion hoodies, so it kind of depends. I mean, some of these are going to be, you might see them at like $40, that you'll have to sell at 80 or something crazy, 75, $80. But the Champion stuff's really good. I'm not a big fan of Champion t-shirts. I don't like them. Like they're not soft for the most part. They have some premium stuff that's a little bit better, but they're not soft for the most part. Just not a big fan of them, even the fit. But the hoodie stuff, I love Champion hoodies. So you are seeing that those are becoming more available with a lot of print-on-demand providers. And then another brand, I've been using Awkward Styles a lot as my print on demand, and Lane 7 is really solid across the board. I think they're really an up and coming brand in my opinion. Their t-shirts are really great. Their hoodies and sweatshirts and different things are really, really good. Nice quality. Pricing is pretty good. And so I like the Lane 7 stuff a lot. Well, I think that does it. I think this is a great episode. Like, so many different recommendations there. There's so many brands out there. These are just some of our favorites. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. I hope people found this super helpful. I know that when you're starting out, you have no clue. It's like information overload because so many print-on-demand companies offer so many different options. It can be very overwhelming. So hopefully this kind of narrows it down. Everyone has their own preferences. You're welcome to order samples from the print-on-demand company and see for yourself what you prefer. But this is just, hopefully this was helpful for everybody.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Cool. Take care, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. If you would, leave us an honest review on whichever platform you are listening to this episode on. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment. We'll see you again soon.